Doubts over U.S. President Joe Biden's visit to India. Well, India's capital, New Delhi, is gearing up to host the upcoming G20 Summit. But days before the visit to India, U.S. First Lady Jill Biden has tested positive for COVID-19. Jill Biden was in Delaware with President Biden when she tested positive. Since the Bidens were together in Delaware, uncertainty has prevailed over Biden's presence at G20. The White House has now clarified that the president will in fact be traveling to India for the summit. Take a listen.
On Thursday, the president will travel to New Delhi, India to attend the G20 Leaders Summit. On Friday, President Biden will participate in a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi of the Republic of India. And on Saturday and Sunday, the president will participate in the official sessions of the G20 Summit.
While in India, the U.S. president will also hold a bilateral meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The meeting will take place on the 8th of September ahead of the G20 Summit. The White House also said that the U.S. will focus on deliveries for developing countries, making progress on key priorities for the American people, from climate to technology, and showing its commitment to the G20.
As we head into New Delhi, our focus is going to be on delivering for developing countries, making progress on key priorities for the American people, from climate to technology, and showing our commitment to the G20 as a forum that can actually, as I said before, deliver.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said President Biden will be taking full precautions. He will be following the COVID-19 guidelines of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention while traveling to New Delhi.
I can tell you that the First Lady is experiencing mild symptoms and will remain in Delaware for the week. President Biden tested negative last night for COVID-19 and tested negative again today. He's not experiencing any symptoms. As far as the steps he is taking, since the president was with the First Lady yesterday, he will be masking while indoors and around people in alignment with CDC guidance. There are currently no updates to the White House COVID-19 protocols. We continue to work closely with public health and medical professionals to monitor the virus. We're in our strongest position yet to fight COVID-19, and the virus is responsible for majority of fall and winter hospitalizations. As we head into the fall, we have more tools and systems available today to help communities this fall and winter season.
On Tuesday, the American president awarded the nation's highest military honor to former Army Captain Larry L. Taylor, a helicopter pilot who saved 4 of his comrades during a rescue mission during the Vietnam War. But Republicans criticized him amid reports that Biden have left the ceremony midway, alleging disrespecting recipients of the military honor. Okay, for more on this, we are being joined by political analyst Stephen Golub from California. Stephen, good to see you again. Can you talk about what's expected from President Biden here at home as he visits the G20 summit? And why is this important for the United States?
Well, it's important for a number of reasons, starting with India itself. The meeting with Prime Minister Modi will touch on a number of geostrategic, military, political, and economic matters of mutual concern to the two countries. One of them, by no means the only, may be President Biden lobbying or trying to persuade Prime Minister Modi to take a more favorable stance in support of Ukraine rather than the more neutral stance he's taken so far. Another will be what's going on in China in terms of its faltering economy and whether that may have geostrategic fallout. More broadly, and if President Biden can come away from the meeting with Prime Minister Modi and the G20 more generally in terms of discussing climate change and other pressing issues, that will be good for the country, good for the world, and good for him politically.
And following news of First Lady Jill Biden's COVID diagnosis, there were some speculations that the president may be thinking twice about going all the way to India. And then there is that notion that, well, world leaders are going to be meeting with him. They're going to sort of be like, okay, well, he was with his wife when she had COVID, so it might be somewhat awkward. Do you think that in any way the president might decide to stay back? And is it going to be different this time around meeting with world leaders?
Yeah, that's a good question. And awkward is the word. As we know, and I'm no doctor, and obviously, but speaking from personal experience, when I've cut COVID a couple of times, there is, and from what I've read, what's out there, and from the CDC and the like, there is a period when someone can be asymptomatic and may be testing negative, but may still actually have COVID and be capable of spreading the virus. Now, that's a finite period. And I'm sure there are consultations going on between the U.S. and Indian doctors from other countries representing their governments that are participating, to try to ascertain that when the window might most likely be closed, so that there won't be a threat of President Biden spreading COVID, if in fact he has it, which right now we don't know, and it seems as though he doesn't based on a couple of negative tests. I'm sure that if necessary, other precautions will be taken, such as certain distances, masking, and the like. But I would think that he would go, that this is a very important meeting, and that appropriate precautions can be taken to make sure that even if he does have COVID, which again, we don't know, and there's a good chance he doesn't have it, to make sure that he doesn't spread it.
Okay, well, we'll be watching. Political analyst Stephen Golub, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Same here. Thank you.